Hey everybody, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is D-Lo and I've got another fan casting video for you today. We are going to be doing DCEU Batman fan casting for Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka The Scarecrow. Now, this one is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about a lot of potential actors we think we're going to be good in the role, whether it is for, like the theme is DCEU, could it be for Robert Pattinson's Batman, could it be for a Batman television series, perhaps one with our favorite quick mention. We're hoping to speak into reality, which is we want that Scott Adkins Batman coming up with it's not a real thing. We just want it to happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and shift my screen so you guys can see my face. And if you guys want, if you want to be seen, if you want to be heard, have your fan castings dropped into the live comments because this video is live, so I can read those. Get your suggestions, and those might become part of this video, so you can actually be part of the fan casting process here. So, without further ado, I want to jump right in and show you guys what we're looking at today for fan casting the Scarecrow in pretty much any medium, but we're going to be looking in general for DC film and television. All right, so take a look. There has been plenty of versions of Scarecrow over the years. They all share the similar themes of he is a avatar for fear. He basically is a doctor, a chemist, psychologist, and he goes off the deep end and falls in love with creating fear in the minds of people. He falls in love with this fear and giving people fear and horror, and terrorizing people. And so he uses chemistry. He uses a drug. He uses a toxin that you breathe. He sprays you with it, or injects you with it in certain versions, and then you become absolutely bonkers, out of your mind, terrified. It's pretty wild stuff, but you can see different versions here. There's actually been plenty of different actors who have played it. Most notably is The Dark Knight with Cillian Murphy. You can see here Cillian Murphy played him in The Dark Knight, Charlie Tahan in Gotham, Jason Mantzoukas in the Lego Batman movie, Corey Burton in Batman Gotham Knight, and a few others as well. I'll name them anyway. Henry Pollock II, Steve Blum, Jim Meskimen, and Brian T. Delaney have played Scarecrow. Lots of people have done it. None of these people will be on my list for fan casting, as they've already gotten a chance to play it. I'm casting for people that are not part of the DC universe. So let me go ahead and just show you guys. My favorite version is the version that was from Arkham Knight, the video game. You can see here is the image that I pulled up. It just looks absolutely sinister. Absolutely, he looks like a literal terrorist, ready to do some war on people's brains, on people's hopes and dreams. So it's kind of a really it's a darker theme for sure. But without further ado, I want to get into some of the choices that I have for this character. So here's some of them, different styles. I may refer back to this image just so that I can show you guys. When I see an actor for this role, I might think of doing them a little bit closer to the Arkham Knight style, doing them a little bit closer to the sickle and the long hat version, or doing them closer to like the gas mask, or doing it like with a hood or a noose around, so like there's different versions. I'll kind of point to what I'm thinking of for those guys. But anyway, let's get into it. So first up, we have Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody is 47 years old and 6'1", and he's from The Pianist, King Kong, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Predators, Detachment, Splice, and a bunch of other stuff. I think he looks a great deal like how some of the artistic depictions of Dr. Jonathan Crane are. He's very long, he's lanky, he's creepy, and I think he would do a really good job playing the character of Dr. Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow, even with his physicality. To me, the physicality is a big part of it. I really liked Cillian Murphy's acting style, but they had him kind of in a suit from the neck down, playing more or less more Jonathan Crane than Scarecrow. And I think with Adrian Brody, you could start from that point and really dive into the Scarecrow part of it, going like full suit, You could do the gas mask version for him. I think that would go really well, like the Arkham Knight style. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below in the comments. Next up, we have Adam Driver. Adam Driver is 36 years old, a little bit younger, so closer to like the Matt Reeves age as opposed to what Adrian Brody would be like for the DCEU going against Ben Affleck, that sort of thing. Because you go against like older ages, I cast closer to that range. If you got a younger Batman, going a little bit closer to the younger side of that. Still, I think that anyone who plays Scarecrow should not be early 20s. I don't, unless you're going like, for instance, they did it in Gotham because the whole show was about young Batman, so all the characters were kind of just dragged into that story. I do think that if you're going to be a doctor, you should probably have had enough time to finish high school, go through medical school, and then have time to be in the field long enough to lose your brains and screw up. So I think for this one, I think Adam Driver is a great choice. He has that long but also intimidating physicality, which I think is important. I think it'd be really nice to have a Scarecrow that isn't just a stick, but is long, very long, like body, torso, legs, arms, but also intimidating, broad shoulders, because fear is a big part of that. So not just the chemistry of it, but the way that he'd look approaching you in the dark alley with the creepy mask and all that stuff. I think that Adam Driver would be a great choice for this. And then take a look. This one was from iFunny. It says, Adam Driver as the Scarecrow. I agree with this. It says he can bring his voice and figure to the character. If he can play crazy, it can work. And I do think he will have no problem playing crazy. I think he was in a Marriage Story, right, with Scarlett Johansson, was it? And they kind of show the deterioration of two individuals falling apart in a relationship. Part of that is the frustration of it all. Part of it is the situations of it all, emotions flying. But in the case of Scarecrow, it's kind of more of along the lines of a mental breakdown. But we did see a lot of range when he played Kylo Ren. And I'm someone that did not really like the sequel trilogy. I actually have a lot of problems with the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, is what I'm referring to. But Ben Solo, or Kylo Ren, was probably one of the most consistent parts of it throughout the trilogy. As far as it goes, I mean, he had some character arc, which I thought was nice. Pretty much nobody else did. It was not well written, in my opinion, and that's an opinion. It's not a fact, but nevertheless, I do think that Adam Driver was one of the better parts of the sequel trilogy for sure, and I think he would be killer in the role of Scarecrow. And I do really like the version that you're looking at right here, with like the partial like gas mask look, the hood, and then the needles. He injects you with the needles. There's something super creepy about that. I mean, I'm not even afraid of needles, but someone's coming at you with a rack of needles and a bunch of orange like chemical coming out, and he's got like his own gas mask and he's about to hurt you. That seems so creepy to me. It's scary. That's a horror movie, and I think he would do a crazy good job at that. So I would love to see him go up against Pattinson in that way, maybe in the sequel or in the third, because they already talked about Pattinson's being a trilogy. All right, next up, we have Jackie Earle Haley. Jackie Earle Haley is 58 years old, a little older, closer to the Ben Affleck range of where I would be targeting for like DCEU film version versus Robert Pattinson film, or even for television. Sorry about that, guys. 5'5". So he's a little bit on the shorter side. Jackie Earle Haley's not a giant, but again, I don't think Cillian Murphy's that tall either. I think he might be close to 6 feet, but he's not that big. And I don't think you have to have tall and broad-shouldered. I prefer it personally. But Jackie Earle Haley, I think, would bring the right type of acting to that. He's in Watchmen, The Bad News Bears, Little Children, A Nightmare on Elm Street. And if that doesn't tell you anything, I mean, he played Freddy Krueger, guys. So we're talking about getting Freddy Krueger in here to play Scarecrow. If that doesn't work for you, I don't know what will. But take a look. I mean, he does look he looks like the Jonathan Crane that would go mad, would become obsessed with torturing people. That to me works perfectly. Get that Nightmare on Elm Street onto the Nightmare in Gotham City. That's what I'm talking about here. So, and then this, I think this look would look really nice. This is kind of like a more real world-esque version of the Arkham Knight. video game version, which I already showed you guys a couple of images for, which is this one here. So you guys can see the gas mask there. You can see the mask kind of coming apart, held by some seams. You can see the nose. You can see all that stuff. And then you switch back to this, and this would be more like a live action version, Nightmare on Elm Street style. I like that. I think that would work really nicely. But let me know what you guys think down below. All right, so then we have Rami Malek, who is 5'9", that's my height, and 39 years old. He's from Bohemian Rhapsody, Mr. Robot, Night at the Museum, Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, The Pacific, Papillion, Need for Speed, plenty of others. But he, not a lot of fan art for him. But for me, I think that Rami Malek is also he's really well-versed at playing different kinds of roles, but he usually plays eccentric, creepy, cerebrally types of characters. And I do think that that could work really nicely with Scarecrow. If I were going with Rami Malek, I don't know that I would go for the Arkham Knight version, because to me, he doesn't seem like that kind of intimidating. I would probably play him similar to the Cillian Murphy version from The Dark Knight, something closer to that, where it's more about the mask than the icon of the Scarecrow. In my opinion, I think I would do that. Or you could go a little bit closer, like this image here of Adrian Brody. Just forget the image of Adrian Brody and just look at the one on the right. I would do something a little bit closer to that style, more cloth-based, more actual Scarecrow-based. Maybe even give him the sickle. That would be pretty cool. So for me, I think that would work really nicely for Rami Malek. All right, next up, we've got Aidan Gillen. Aidan Gillen is 5'9", again, my height, and then 52 years old. This would be a good one to go against Ben Affleck or whoever will replace Ben Affleck in the DCEU. He's from Game of Thrones, Peaky Blinders. Again, that one's with Cillian Murphy, the other Scarecrow. Then Project Blue Book, Queer as Folk, Folk, The Wire, Scorch Trials, King Arthur. He's an amazing talent. He was in The Dark Knight Rises, and I think he was one of the most underused actors in that entire film. He's an incredible villainous actor. If you guys haven't seen the movie Lorna Doone, I think it'll be like back here. I'll see if I can find the cover of it. It's a really old movie right here, made in 2000. It's 20 years old at this point. So I guess that's not really old. But like made in 2000, Lorna Doone, really good movie. He plays the villain. My goodness, do you hate him in that film? It's not for his acting, but you hate the character, and you forget that he's acting because he does such a good job. It's crazy. It's almost hard to watch him in anything else after you see that movie, because you're just like, you are pure evil, like this guy. But you know, he's acting, so it's like, oh my gosh. But anyway, I think he would be brilliant. This image right here, I could have photoshopped this, and I may do that just for fun, just eventually, just to show you guys because when I look at this, I see the classic Scarecrow from like the Batman animated series. I see closer to like this version here, right there. So let me see if I can show you guys. Where was it? No, not that one, not that one, not that one. So you got that, and you got this. That, and this. You see what I'm saying? So he's already kind of got that, like, thinner, lankier. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but that doesn't matter. He's got the right face shape, I think. He plays evil really well. He plays creepy really well. He does, like, vengeance and all kinds of villainous qualities he's capable of. I consider him like a Ralph Fiennes. Like, he plays Ralph Fiennes or a Jason Isaacs. Like, they were born to play villains. Like, that's kind of more or less that caliber of actor. And I think he would do really well. You can see, obviously, just from the hat alone and the rope next to him, like, there's a couple of, like, things here that make him seem in the element of Scarecrow. So when I saw this image, I was like, oh my gosh, like, that would work so perfectly. Both his talents and his appearance, aesthetics would work so beautifully together to play the Scarecrow. So I like Aidan Gillen for this. Let me know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. And next we have Andrew Scott. He is 5'8" and 43 years old. He's an Irish actor. Most people who know Andrew Scott know him from his time on Sherlock, the BBC television series, which is absolutely brilliant. He's in Fleabag, Modern Love, His Dark Materials, Band of Brothers, 1917, Spectre. Andrew Scott is incredible. He does a flipping awesome job. I mean, the version of Moriarty that's in the Sherlock show on BBC is very different from classic Moriarty. It's not even recognizable. It's very different. But his version on that show is also just amazing. A lot of people have him fan cast to play the Riddler. I might even have him on that list already. So you may see him again, spoiler alert. But he also would do a crazy job, an amazing job playing the Scarecrow. Now, like Rami Malek, he's not the biggest guy, and he doesn't come across even as lanky or long, which some of the depictions of Scarecrow are. So I would play him a little bit closer. Like I mentioned with Rami Malek, I would play him closer to like the Cillian Murphy version, or a very classic version of Scarecrow, perhaps something like this. I would go with something probably closer to that. So anyways, that's more or less where I would go with that. Like right here, I would do something like that, where he's not a big guy, but you're not fighting the big guy. You're fighting the chemistry. You're fighting the chemical. You're fighting the drug that you've just breathed in. Surprise attacks, sinister, cunning, that kind of stuff. So I would go with that. Let me see if I have, where did it go? Okay. And then this is an image too. So another one that I think could work, just because the way that he acts, it could work as well. If I was going to go for an Arkham Knight, I would go for someone with a larger physicality, like what was his name? Adrian Brody or Adam Driver. I would go with someone bigger for the Arkham Knight version, but you could probably get away with it based on the acting style of this guy here. And I like what that would be in my head. So let me know if you guys can kind of envision that and what your take is on Andrew Scott. All right, next up, Robert Carlyle. So Robert Carlyle, you guys probably know from Once Upon a Time, from Train Spotting, Aragon. He's 59 years old and 5'8". Not the biggest guy in the world, but he plays Rumpelstiltskin on Once Upon a Time. If you guys haven't seen Once Upon a Time, you should watch at least the first season for the sake of watching Robert Carlyle as Rumpelstiltskin. First of all, it makes you think immediately, oh my gosh, he could play the Green Goblin, he could play the Hobgoblin brilliantly well for Spider-Man, no doubt, 100%. But also, it translates really nicely, I think, to playing the Scarecrow, because the fear and the intimidation that a guy that's not very big, he's 5'8", and he's not super fit or anything. He's in shape, but he's not like muscular, like athletic. I think I would go for this look here. What you see here, I would put the sackcloth over, and I'd tie it around with a rope or a noose. You get the hat, and I just go for that full look. Like, just dive into that, and man, Robert Carlyle would knock this out of the park. I really believe that. What do you guys think about Robert Carlyle? Do you like that? Let me know if you enjoy this fan cast here. All right, next up we have Matthew McConaughey. So now we're at number 8. So I have a full roster of 10 plus 1. I have one bonus choice for you guys, and but we'll get to that. So I've got a few more here. This is number 8. Number 8 is Matthew McConaughey. He is 6 feet tall, 50 years old. Now, I think he might be possibly the most high-profile actor on the list. Debatably, but I think so. So if you were gonna do a movie, I think you could possibly get away with actually getting Matthew McConaughey on board for this one. I don't think he'd join if you're gonna do like a TV show. I don't think he would go there. But regardless, I think he would do a great job. Dallas Buyers Club, Interstellar, True Detective, The Gentleman, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, The Lincoln Lawyer, The Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, he usually plays fairly close to himself. Like, he doesn't stray super far, but he's gone into comedy. He's done like some really serious stuff, and then some more. I don't know how to describe Interstellar, but more emoting, more subtle types of roles. I think it would work well. Not because I think I look at Scarecrow and think Matthew McConaughey, but I do think Matthew McConaughey would also fit that role and could bring himself there. I would personally like to see him give it a shot. And I think if we were going to do that, I would prefer Matthew McConaughey go full Arkham Knight. I am excited. I love this version. The Arkham Knight game is just brilliant. If you haven't played it, you definitely should. It's the same game function as the Spider-Man PS4 game, which came later, but just at night all the time. and the story mode is much darker in tone. But anyway, I really love this version. I think that Matthew McConaughey would just crush this. So let me know what you guys think about Matthew McConaughey. And next we have Benedict Cumberbatch. One of the reasons why I choose Benedict Cumberbatch is because of his voice and his physical acting ability. I don't know if you guys knew about him in him being in The Hobbit. He played Smaug the Dragon. And when he played Smaug the Dragon, he didn't just voice the character. He actually put on all the nodes and then did the motion capture for the dragon. It was really weird to watch that behind the scene, but he really, as a theater actor, he gets really physically into his roles with very big movements, very big motions. And you see that in Sherlock. You see that come alive in Sherlock plenty of times when he's becoming eccentric and he waves his arms up in the air and he's very emotive physically. With Scarecrow, you would want someone that does that. Now, he's already 6 feet tall, big guy. But he also has a powerful voice. And so he could do the evil, sinister laugh. You could do a Smaug voice, a combination and totally original. I think it would be really cool to see Benedict Cumberbatch, not just in the MCU as Doctor Strange, but in the DCEU or in for instance, the Matt Reeves Batman series, play the Scarecrow. So to me, that I think would work really nicely. And then again, you can see his physicality. 6 feet is not the biggest guy in the world, but he does have a very long figure. And I think that when you put him into that creepy as heck Scarecrow outfit, it's gonna make it look that much better. And I think you could go for any which one of the Scarecrow versions. So for instance, you could do this one. You could do one of these where it's no hat and just a cowl over the top with the rope, which is this one basically. You could do this one with the hat, Benedict Cumberbatch style. To me, I think any of these would work for Benedict. It would be pretty awesome to see. There's so many ways you could attack the character, as far as costume design, story writing, that sort of thing. So many ways you can approach the Scarecrow because he has already been approached so many different ways. And I think it would be really fun to have Benedict Cumberbatch give a crack at that. Plus, we know that he can play a doctor already. We know that he can play someone who's, someone whose brain is rattling off at 1,000 miles an hour. And Dr. Crane, even though he's not a technical genius, he's a chemist. And we would want to see him tripping out at parts because of the drug in the process. For instance, when Charlie Tahan was playing Scarecrow in Gotham, you saw his father torturing him, exposing him to the drug and making him go bonkers and lose his brain, while also teaching him how to do the chemistry at the same time. Very sick and twisted storyline. But you also had to watch Charlie Tahan play basically an addict. You had to watch him play a drug addict effectively. And then you also had to watch him play someone who was evil, someone who was a victim, and someone who was the aggressor, someone who was the abuser. And so that was a really cool take. I really like Charlie Tahan's version. I actually prefer Charlie Tahan's version on Gotham more than I like the Cillian Murphy version in The Dark Knight. But anyway, that's just me. So let me see, where were we? I think we were at Rumpelstiltskin, and we did Benedict Cumberbatch. All right. Now we're at Robert Nepper. So let me know what you guys think about first Benedict Cumberbatch, and then I'll get over here to the Robert Nepper. So Robert Nepper, if you guys have seen Prison Break, you already know. If you guys have seen Prison Break's finale, you already know. Hitman, Breakout Heroes, The Hunger Games, Mockingjay. I think his best work, and he's been on Arrow as well as Clockman, I think, I think it's Clockman. But my goodness, when he played Theodore Bagwell or T-Bag in Prison Break, you can't stop seeing that. It makes you nauseous at times. You're like, oh my gosh, this guy is scary. He is creepy. He is evil. He's perverse. It's like all that. Now, Scarecrow isn't perverse, but he is evil. He is someone that loves fear. He loves the evil of fear. He loves the horror, and he loves to inflict that on others so he can watch that. And that's something I think that Robert Nepper would be able to do so well. Another perfect villainous actor. I think he would do such a good job in that. And again, he is older. He's 60 years old, 5'10", right in that middle height between most of my other choices that are usually like 6 foot and then like 5'8", 5'9". 5'10" is right there in the middle. You could do anything you wanted with him, any style you'd like. I think more sackcloth for him would be better, but you could also do the like, just look at those eyes, man. Like, look at that. This guy, and most people have him on their list to play Joker, and I agree. He would be a brilliant Joker. There's no reason why he shouldn't be allowed to have a chance to play Joker. But I also see that he would be a really good option to play Scarecrow, someone who inflicts fear. Look at that face. He can play a doctor for sure, and he has, but he absolutely should be playing a villain that worships fear. And to me, that would be Scarecrow. Not just Joker, but Scarecrow. All right, and let me know what you guys think about Robert Nepper down below, and let me know what you guys think about those eyes. These eyes. All right, so next up, we have for the bonus pick. So we went through all 10. Now we're at the bonus pick, and then I'll get to the comments right after this, because it looks like we got some comments from my people. All right, so then we've got David Dastmalchian. You guys probably recognize him. He was in The Dark Knight, but he was not playing Scarecrow. Most people get him and Cillian Murphy mixed up. I do. I have in the past. But David Dastmalchian, who was in The Dark Knight, he played the guy that was, I think he was confused for the Joker, if I'm not mistaken. But he plays a total creep as well. He also in Ant-Man did not play a creep. He played someone that was actually kind of enjoyable, like a nerd, a foreigner. But I think David Dastmalchian would be able to do what Cillian Murphy did and play a really, really evil person. 42 years old, 6 feet tall, a little bit taller than some of these other choices. Apparently he is going to be in the Suicide Squad movie. So I don't know that this one counts. That's why I put him in the bonus, because being in the bonus pick, it's unclear what his role is going to be in the Suicide Squad, and the Suicide Squad is going to be in the DCEU. But we're also kind of casting for television as well. So like, or for instance, the Matt Reeves films. I have the title on this thing is DCEU, but that's because I started the series before anything else was in film. And so then Matt Reeves' series came out, and so now it's like, okay, well, we kind of have to include the others. So let me see where to go. All right, there we are. So let me know what you guys think about David Dastmalchian as the bonus pick, and let's take a look before we go. This was him. I don't know if you guys remember him in the Dark Knight. This was him again when he got shot. And then here's him side by side with his creepy character in The Dark Knight, and then also again on the right with in Ant-Man. where he plays a much more humorous, lighthearted character. Pretty cool. He's got some diverse roles. So I think he'd be cool. All right, what do you guys think about David Dastmalchian in the bonus? Let me know what you guys think. And before we go on forward, I will recap with you guys. Let me see where we are at. All right, so the first one is Adrian Brody, 6'1" and 47 years old. We have Adam Driver, 6'2", 36 years old. We have Jackie Earl Haley, 5'5" and 58 years old. Rami Malek at 5'9", 38 years old. Aiden Gillen at 5'9", 52 years old. Andrew Scott at 5'8", 43 years old. Robert Carlisle, 5'8", 59 years old. Matthew McConaughey, 6 foot and 50 years old. Benedict Cumberbatch, 6 feet, 43 years old. And Robert Nepper at 5'10", 60 years old. And then with the bonus pick being David Dastmalchian, 6 foot and 42 years old. So let me know what you guys think about those down below in the comments. And then again, for this bonus pick, you can see this guy jumps dimensions faster than Rick and Morty. The Dark Knight, Ant-Man, Gotham, and The Flash. He's been in all of these. So this guy's all over the place. 3 appearances in DC projects before, and also Ant-Man in the Marvel projects. So guy gets around. So I wanted to show you before we go, this is an art that I did for the Fancasting Summit for my top 2 choices. And you can see here, we have Adam Driver on the left, and we have Adrian Brody on the right. Adam Driver is my favorite pick to play Scarecrow, but my second favorite, very, very close, almost a tie, is Adrian Brody. And again, I like the Arkham Knight style for this. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this version, what I would like to see personally, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you want to see? Who would you like to see play Scarecrow in a DC project in the near future? Let me know what you guys want to see and who you want to see play the role. All right, and before you guys go, if you want to support my channel, make sure, and I'm going to get to the comments in just 1 second, all right? So hang on tight. But if you guys want to support my channel, there's 5 things you can do right now for free. That's like this video, share it with a friend, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you can be alerted when we go live next time. That way you can be a part of this and you can have your comments answered during or at the end of these videos. And if you want to support me with money and get something that is going to help me financially, but also is going to get you something nice, you can go ahead and head on to the link in my description, and it'll take you to my link tree, and you can click on my merch store. And from there, you can get yourself some of this merch. You can get the Stuff of Legend. Right now it's mirrored, so you're looking at it backwards. But the Stuff of Legend shirts, a bunch of people have gotten some of these, but you can check these out. There's also some DC designs that I've made. Like, for instance, Hope Starts with an H, Stupid, and Make Scott Adkins Batman. I've got a bunch of these Release the Snyder Cuts, which now are perfectly validated since it's coming out. But we also have, like the different Batman actors, different Superman actors, Joker actors, custom Joker designs. All of these I've done myself. Amber Ever as Batgirl, and then all these, plenty of other stuff. So lots of designs that you can check out for yourself. And with that done and out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen and take some of these comments in the live chat. So appreciate that moment where you guys let me plug my stuff, but I really do appreciate it. It means a lot if you guys support me in that way. But don't worry, if you don't have any money, you can't get yourself some sick merch, you can still like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and that'll help me get to my 1,000 subscriber goal. All right, let's take some comments. So Thoran Thambia, I don't know if I said that correctly, but I hope I did. He says, "What up, dude?" And I say, "What's up, man?" So you say, "Toby Kebbell, anyone?" Dude, I love Toby Kebbell. Toby Kebbell is one of the best motion capture actors alive right now. I cast him as one of my top picks for Beast in the X-Men, which is a Marvel project, not the DC project, but you can see that there. I think, yeah, he would be a great choice. I didn't think of him for this video beforehand, but that's an excellent. In fact, I might even just pull that up so we can just take a look. Toby Kebbell. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. right, so we have Toby Kebbell. This is Thoran Thumbyaya as is casting Toby Kebbell. Toby Kebbell, I do think, is a great choice. 6'1", a little bit taller than my other choices. 37 years old, a little bit younger, so that works really nicely, especially being in the, if we're going to do the Robert Pattinson version, I think he'd be a great choice for that. He looks very nice, like he could play a doctor, a scientist, but he's also really good at playing a creep. He got a really horrible role as the worst version of Doctor Doom we've ever gotten in Fan 4 Stick, which is the worst movie ever. But I really liked him in Kong Skull Island, doing a lot of the motion capture acting there for the Beasts, and then also in Ben-Hur and then in Warcraft. I really enjoy those movies. They weren't the best critical films, and they weren't the best fan-rated films either, but I personally like those films a lot. I really love Warcraft. I enjoyed that a lot. And I do think Toby Kebbell did a brilliant job playing, what was it, Orgrim? I can't remember who he plays. It was either Orgrim or like Thrall or someone. I'll have to look that up. But I forget the name of the orc. That's gonna bother me, but I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't, so forgive me. But yes, I do think Toby Kebbell would do a crazy good job, and if they had to mocap anything, he's literally the guy to do that. He's probably the second or third best motion capture actor besides Andy Serkis himself. So yeah, that's good. And then Nerdy Blurb TV says, "Hey, what's up, dude? It's good to see you, my man." You say, "Yes, yes, yes. Finally, I'm here for a live show on the Legends Show." Heck yeah, dude. It's great to have you, man. Theron Thumbyaya says, "Another pick I want to throw out is Richard Armitage." Very good choice. Richard, let's go here. Richard Armitage. Here we go, Richard Armitage. This is bonus pick number 3, technically. So we have 6'2", a little taller even than the others. 48, closer to the range of the DCEU. That would work very nicely. I think he'd be a good choice. He does play a lot of villains that are either fearful or he plays rage really well. I think he's on the podcast on Marvel. I forget what it's called, but it's basically Wolverine's podcast, and he plays the voice of Wolverine on this storytelling podcast. And you can listen to it. I believe it's free online or on Podbean or Castbox or something. But you can check that out. And he's the voice of Wolverine there. He played Thorin Oakenshield in The Hobbit. Again, a very like commanding presence. Fear, not fearful, not that he's afraid, but that he imbues fear on the people that look upon him. He's very good at that. He's got a very good gaze that he casts onto people. And also, he was also the Hydra agent in Captain America: The First Avenger that ran from Cap and shot at the car door, threw the kid in the water, and the kid's like, "Go get him, Cap, I can swim." And Cap's like, "All right, go." And he's like, chases him down. He's that guy. Does the whole like, "Hail Hydra," bites his tooth, and then it like acid comes out and he dies. That's him. I think that's a good choice, a really good choice. I didn't think of him. To me, he's pretty like clean cut. I mean, obviously in The Hobbit, he was able to like, turn into a freaking dwarf. But in The Hobbit, different. Voicing Wolverine, I think would work really nicely. A lot of people want him to actually play Wolverine as a replacement for Hugh Jackman, which would be a very smooth transition, I think. But that's if you're going for the same kind of Wolverine. Then for me, I don't want that. But a good choice, I think, for Scarecrow. So another cool choice. We also have Daniel's Hot Topic says, "Hi, what's up? What's up, my man? It's good to see you here." Theron Thumbyaya says again, "Adam would be solid for Robert Pattinson's Batman." Again, Toby Kebbell, anyone. He should be Beast for the MCU, though. I agree. And I mentioned that before. I put him in my Beast fan cast specifically because you're probably going to need a lot of motion capture. And for that reason, and for the fact that I think he has the right voice to play Beast, and he has the right size, and I think Toby Kebbell is a great choice for that. If you haven't seen his work in Warcraft, let me see if I can just go back. If you haven't seen his work in Warcraft, you absolutely must. He plays... Oh, it's Duratan. That's who he plays. So Duratan is the dwarf that he plays. And again, if you put fur on this bad boy and paint him blue, I mean, it's actually not far off from what Beast looks like in some comic iterations. Obviously, this is an orc in Warcraft. It's not Beast from the X-Men. So you can't just copy paste. But effectively, he did an amazing job playing this role and carrying the orc storyline for that film, because the story is like threefold, kind of shows three things happening and then they collide at the end. But he was the main star of the orc storyline. I think he did a brilliant job. Very good actor. And so let me see if I can go here, close that out. All right. And so then next up we have Nerdy Blurb TV. Rich would be a good pick, but I think Brody is the way to go. Rich. Who did I say was Rich? Rich. I don't think I have anybody on here named Rich. First name or last name. Maybe it could have been Robert or Rami. Maybe Rami. Maybe clarify on that comment. But yes, I agree that Driver. Yeah, you say here. I'd say Driver, but I think he's too big a star while Brody is fading. And then Nerdy Blurb TV says, Daniel's Hot Topics. Hey, man, what's up? And he say, Theron Thumbiyaya. Driver honestly would be so great and could play crazy for sure, but his prestige, I think, would outweigh things. And then, I think I agree with you on that for Adrian Brody more than Adam Driver. Adam Driver is pretty big right now as a big name because he was kind of coming around Oscar season, but a lot of people in the nerd community don't really know his name outside of Star Wars. And if you're not a Star Wars fan, you probably, like if you're like me, you're not watching any other films he's been in. Adam Driver, look, I'll see if I can pull up his. He was in a lot of chick flicks and movies that are predominantly female written or oriented. He was in Black Klansman, though. I didn't get a chance to see that one, but I heard that was really good. Marriage Story, I haven't seen. I've seen the Star Wars movies, unfortunately. And then Black Klansman, I heard that was great. I want to see that one. Paterson, I haven't seen. The Dead Don't Die, sounds cool, but I haven't seen it. The Report, haven't seen it. Logan Lucky, haven't seen it. Silence, haven't seen it. This Is Where I Leave You, haven't seen it. Haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of these. I was gonna watch Lincoln the other day, but we didn't get around to it. So I need to see that one. I am interested to see this one though, the Lincoln. And then Midnight Special, Tracks. You Don't Know Jack. A lot of these. Most of these are ones that I wasn't interested if I've ever seen it, or if someone was like, hey, you want to see this? It didn't seem interesting to me. That's me judging books by its cover, of course. Or in this case, films by its title or films by its genre. But I like the nerd stuff. And he's only been in arguably 4 things that are nerdy. So to me, I don't consider Adam Driver a big star. I think he's a big star in the same way that like Daisy, well, I guess Daisy Ridley, no, maybe. But like he's a big star in the same way that what's his name? The guy that plays Finn, like I had no idea who he was before that, and since then I've only seen him in the second Pacific Rim. So to me, that's not a big name just because he was in a big project. But I see what you're saying though. I think it wouldn't be that crazy to me to put him in as a villain, especially if he's the main villain. So if he's like one villain out of like 20 and there's like a billion, he's just kind of like a side character somewhere, that to me would be a waste of his talent. On the other hand, if he's the main villain of his own film in a Batman film, that's a big deal. That to me is different. That's like Josh Brolin playing Thanos in a way. You could be the star of the film in essence. So to me, that's not like a throwaway. That would actually, I think, be fitting. But then that's also just an opinion. Nerdy Blurb also says Rami, I think, could be a better Riddler. I agree. I think Rami plays cerebral really well, and I think if you're gonna have a villain that's cerebral out of the rest, it's got to be Riddler. Riddler is the brain. He's the one that is the most intelligent, pretty much, of all of Batman's villains as far as intellect goes and cleverness. So yeah, I would go with Riddler for Rami, but I do think he also kind of fits the description for this one too. I think he could pull it off. So yeah. And then Nerdy Blurb also says the first season is pretty aight. I think, what was I referring to when he said that? The first season of Once Upon a Time. Yeah, so Once Upon a Time was like, it was cool. It was like, okay, all right, you know, and then it got better, and then it eventually got really, really crappy. I think it was right around the time they started doing Frozen. It kind of started to suck. That's for me when it dropped out. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm annoyed. And so, but I think one of the best parts of that, my favorite character throughout the whole show was Rumpelstiltskin. I really loved Robert. What was his name? Robert Carlyle. I almost said Robert Nepper. Robert Carlyle in that role. So to me, I really liked that. But anyway, this video is now officially done. No more live comments. I've gone through every single one of them. So you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know who your favorite actor is to play the Scarecrow in a DC project, either movie or TV. Let me know which one you like better. And also, don't forget to share this video with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you can be a part of the live chat, the live video, and have your castings be included in these videos as well. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for making this video even better by throwing out these suggestions. Toby Kebbell and Richard Armitage, a few others. Thank you so much for that. You guys stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend. Hey guys, Dceu here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to share this video with all of your nerd friends. I know you got them, and you know who they are. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this discussion. Let me know what you would like to see me do a video on next. Subscribe to the channel because you're a legend, and we have that in common. Also be sure to turn on notifications to be notified right away when I upload my next video, or so that you can be alerted when I go live next time. That way you'll never miss a thing. Check out the other videos on the channel so that we can have a discussion on all your favorite movies and TV topics. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.